All right, guys, Shotty T here with an Alliance War video. This is war number 2. We're currently in the middle of war number 3, and I swear that's a very stressful war. Just wait to that video. You're going to be very entertained. But this war here, we're facing a more normal defense. It's stubborn, and on paper, this is the only suicide roster I see there. So I see my usual scouting, the defensive setup. It's a little bit more formidable as the last one. We got no 4 stars, no unawakened 6 stars. That's one right there with that Havoc. But you don't have a whole abundance of them and rank 1 6-star defenders. But you see, we got a Dragon Man, we got a Tigra, we got a Black Widow Deadly Origin. So we got quite a task ahead of us. But we're up for the challenge. So we're still in tier 5, by the way. That win didn't push us there. But if we win this one, I'm pretty sure we'll get there this time. So as far as our team, we're going to switch it up here. We're going to keep Havoc, but we're going to go with Torch and Magic. All right, and as you guys saw, there was a Mojo Boss, so that's the main reason why I brought Magic. She is featured in one other fight, which you'll see. All right, first fight here is a Stealth Suit Spidey. Nothing too alarmingly difficult about this. Of course, you got the unstoppable, uninterrupted heavy attack, and then, of course, you got this random evade. But other than that, it's really nothing to worry about on this node. Of course, the one thing you do have to pay attention to is if you do knock the opponent down. And of course, I got messed up right there. Obviously, he can evade in the middle of the heavy attack. I think it happens one more time this fight. But so I think that's the main set of drama that happens in this fight. Mostly it's just him recovering. And also, you have to be mindful whenever there's ebb and flow knockdown, whenever your passive fury expires, any debuffs that were placed on the opponent, they immediately purify. So if you happen to be in the middle of a stun, you will mess yourself up if you're not ready to block it. So once again, I tried a heavy again. I mean, I guess I obviously didn't learn my lesson the first time. So now we got a debuff placed on us. At least this one allows us to heal a little bit. So we'll allow that to kind of cheese heal before we kill him. I mean, this is going to be massive overkill. All right. Wasn't a clean fight, but got it done. All right. And I guess I'm looking ahead to my next fight with Nick Fury. I guess we just, yeah. I don't know, I kind of spaced out there. All right, so next fight here, we got Nick Fury. Now, this fight, normally what we do here, this is Power Snack, so this is not as difficult as it would have been on the, well, actually, I think we end up taking on this Domino. Apparently, we take on this Domino. Not sure why I took this fight. I guess on paper it's not too difficult. Just have to worry about the lucky, unlucky stuff and the power transfer. And I guess that's something I didn't know about Domino. If she's lucky that she shrugs off parries much quicker. Because it wasn't a limber mastery. Because as you can saw, I was able to parry heavy there pretty successfully. So I learn something new every day, I guess. So I have to keep that in mind. Because she can punish you with a combo if you're exposed. I mean, all those critical hits and critical damage. So, and unfortunately, I got unlucky there with the feedback damage. And now we got a power transfer. Now, the critical failure is not ticking away too much because Havoc does have good energy resistance, so we're okay there. But I guess the idea of taking this fight is try to heal as much as we can off of willpower to offset some of the critical failure and the other incidental hits I take during this fight, but obviously did not quite accomplish that, so we're going to end up having to potion up. And I always keep my combos short with her whenever she's lucky because of stuff like that. If I kept attacking, I would have got crushed with that SP1 and probably would have died. So that's just something you have to always pay attention to. I got lucky, real lucky right there. So I almost lost my Havoc. And got unlucky with the perfect block. And so 2 opportunities to deliver feedback damage, and we're slow with the heavy attack. And now we're in trouble. I can't dex that because I'm unlucky. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff you have to worry about in this fight. So now we're just trying to finish the fight. Obviously, this person has a pretty high limber, so I'm not gonna try to even parry, punish her. Because I hesitate just slightly because I'm not sure if I'm going to parry her or not because of the 15% chance that I don't. So unfortunately, going into that fight ambitiously is going to cost us some potions. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have went in that fight, but we survived it. So that's the most important thing. But I think we end up using 1 more potion before going into this fight. Yeah, so now it's costing me units, so that was a pretty expensive fight there. All right, so I think we're looking for mutant power boost. So the idea here is simple. Take him down to his first life with basic attacks. And when he gets to his second life, we'll unleash the SP3. And hopefully it builds to another SP2 at least, and then finish him off. So that way we take the stubborn aspect out of play. So we'll deal with it in the early stages of the fight in his first life, but the second life will be very short. So not sure what other boosts am I really using here. I guess save some more potions. We're just gonna use a combat regeneration. I'm hoping that this fight is quick enough where I can carry that over to the next fight and heal some more, but I don't think I can take advantage of that. If I recall, we'll see. So we're trying to be as aggressive as we can. Go ahead and apply the plasma and then let the feedback do the damage. There we go. So we just kind of chill, reapply it, chill some more. Try not to trigger stubborn so he doesn't heal off of that with willpower. Well, he may not heal much because I got Despair Mastery with all those debuffs on him. But still, just want to be extra careful. Now we got to worry about, and I got real lucky there with the power snack combined with backup recovery. Almost went 3 bars of power. Just got to be mindful of stuff like that. Just going to take that damage there. Again, we're just being very methodical with the feedback damage, letting that take his entire life down. Not sure why I went for the 5-hit combo there. But I guess, all right, now we're just trying to race him to the second life. Feedback took his first life down. I'm gonna make sure he throws his special first. We'll block that. And now we'll go to the SP3. And the reason why I did it in the second life so I can take more of his health so that way I can recuperate a lot of that power back. And then we intercept him with a special. Good night. All right, cool deal. All right, next fight's gonna be Korg. Like I said, I think that fight took more than 3 minutes, so unfortunately my comeback regeneration boost is, oh, it's still there. Okay, so we got bonus. Not sure. No, yeah, I would say I don't need that if I got the comeback regeneration boost active. I guess I'm methodically taking my time, but he's SIG 200, so that's the main thing I was checking there. So this fight does become very stressful because of that SIG 200. But right now we're just parry medium, light medium. I got pretty lucky on those 3 parries, hitting the shrug a single one of them. But all that means is that those percentages are going to come back into play later on. And they will. Man, so far, so good, though. 4 parries, no shrugs. So we're going to do math from here on out. See, yes. 2 out of 4. 2 and 5. 3 and 5. 3 and 6. 4 and 6. All right, so we go ahead and throw the SP3 to get rid of the rock stacks there. Every time you get rid of the rock stacks, he starts back with 1 lesser rock stack. So and I still got my mutant power boost active. So the idea, if I can throw an SP3 when he doesn't have rock stack, that's the ideal place. But I think when it gets to a point where he shrugs off so many debuffs, I just don't get to do it. So that's 4 straight that he shrugged off. So now it's 8 shrug off, 6 parries when he has rock stack. So now it's 7, 8 and 7. Yep, I was doing that math in my head. See, 9 and 7, 9 and 8. All right, we're back at 50-50. Once again, just decided to go ahead and get rid of those rock stats. I mean, time is not an issue, so I'd rather just be able to freely hit him, just start his rock stats over. And I think it hit there with the SP1. And one of those rare occasions. All right, 10, 11, 9, 11, 10. It's a nice little game we play. How many times he shrugs off versus how many times he gets parried. So that's 13, 11. 13, 12. 14, 12, 15, 12. And again, the rock stats are out of control. The plasma debuffs are getting... Now, every time he shrugs it off, he does take a burst of energy damage, but it's not enough to kill him. But it's ramping him up so much I have to get rid of it. But I don't think I have too many Havoc fights left. I do take one ambitious Havoc fight later on that ends up costing me. So I will spoil that. But this fight is not one of them. All right, we got it done. All right, next fight's gonna be Havoc on Havoc. Now this is where me losing that health in that last fight didn't really matter as much because I get to heal it back in this fight. And actually, I do have another Havoc fight after this one. For some reason, I thought that was the last one. But this fight, I do not die with Havoc. It's another fight. So the cool thing about Havoc versus Havoc is that anytime I have a debuff, I get to have willpower with his plasma and heal myself tremendously throughout the course of the fight. Now the thing about this fight, the reason why I'm pushing him in the corner, because of course the parry Havoc, a lot of times you have to reparry, so it's gonna ramp up his power gain because of the kinetic transfer node. And plus you have to give yourself some space whenever he throws his specials, that way you can wait out the Footloose. And I ended up wasting my indestructible on this SP1. I guess I was just being prepared in case he got to SP3. But now I don't have that crutch anymore. Just gotta just not push him there. And it's not too hard to do. I mean, to stave it off, that is. So now he's throwing his specials more frequently, starting to push me to his side of the board. So we're gonna push him back some more. As you can see, that willpower has healed me tremendously from the start of the fight. And at this point, I could probably throw my SP3 because I still got that mutant power boost, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just overkill. Underestimate the power of this SP3. I guess I'll fight with him so much in Act 6 on a lot of paths that it doesn't necessarily kill the opponent, but I got to realize that those health pools are much bigger than these war health pools. So, yeah, a lot of times the SP3 is going to kill the opponent in war. So I saw that one of my teammates was just moving, so I decided to let her spare me that one energy. So now we got Mr. Sinister. Now what we're going to do here is use Human Torch. This is going to be Human Torch versus Mr. Sinister 101. For those that don't know, when Mr. Sinister does his SP1, he transfers all debuffs on him to the opponent. But what that does against Torch is that he's Incinerate immune, so all that does is converts all those Incinerate debuffs that he transfers, and it comes to me in the form of smolder charges, which makes my Incinerates that I send to him last longer and be more potent. So now we use that SP2 to charge up the temperature to make them last even longer. So now we're melting him. And keep in mind, this is with the 60% protection. I'm not even intercepting him because it's not necessary for this fight. But if I did, I guarantee he'll be melting much quicker than what he is right now. You have to be careful with Mr. Sinister's heavy attack. It's a very quick attack. If you're not quick to retaliate off of it, you can get punished. And that was a pretty standard textbook fight there. All right, so next fight, I was debating whether I should bring Torch or Magic. If I use Torch, I'm gonna have to use pre-fight, but there's an invisible woman ahead. I'd rather save that pre-fight for her. So I decided to use Magic for this particular battle. And the idea here is just to use a simple Magic cycle. I let him throw a couple of his specials. Ideally, none of them, but you're not always gonna be perfect. I think he throws this SP1 right there. Probably should have just took that block because it really didn't matter. I had Limbo active. And I would just wait out that. And I didn't go in to attack his heavy because I would have been too late and it would have got parried. So now I got to 2 bars of power and the fight is effectively over. Just a matter of just getting my intercepts down. And this is good practice for that Mojo fight as well. The standing intercept did not work. It's all good. But he did restore it, so I have to be careful here. And we're just gonna restart it here. And since I got Limbo, might as well take that block. And just a little pro tip with Magic: if you got Limbo active, it's okay to let the opponent hit into your block because you're gonna regenerate all of it back. And if you got Recovery Master, you're gonna recover more than what you got blocked. So, and that was the deal there. All right, so we waited out there. So now I think we're in the next morning now. It's day 2 of the war. So we got Human Torch. We're gonna use our pre-fight ability. And for some reason I went here for the pre-fight. It's not there. It's there. Okay. All right, so pre-fight active. So this fight is going to be pretty standard. I wanted to make sure both links were down because that other link that I normally take link or take link is the one with if you have 3 debuffs on you, the defender becomes unstoppable until they expire. And because of her invisibility, there's a possibility you could trigger those 3 fatigue debuffs pretty easily. And another thing about Torch, if his temperature is above 10, his attacks cannot miss. So it applies to Invisible Woman's invisibility. I don't think you get a chance to see that showcased in this particular fight. So I really wasn't focused on that as much, but that is a thing there. So now we're just gonna, so that's a little key there. If you find yourself trapped where she's invisible and it's kind of tough to, I mean, you can hit into her block to start the invisibility timer, but if she throws her SP1, it has such a long recovery time, you can just swipe at her while she's still up in the air and she won't retaliate. Why don't you do it quick enough? And I got a little ambitious there, but I mean, she doesn't hit too hard, so it's not a big deal there. And we're just gonna allow this this armor break debuff to heal us a little bit. And now that her fatigue debuffs, not her fatigue, but her exhaustion debuffs also will heal us a little bit. And I guess we intercept her at one point because that Incinerate started to melt her pretty quickly. So this is the fight where I end up being very ambitious with Havoc. Now, it almost worked, but you'll see. This fight's going to be against Thing. In all honesty, somebody else should have had somebody else take this fight because I didn't want to use Human Torch because I knew I was going to take a lot of block damage and I wanted to save him for that Dragon Man. So I figured, okay, I got Havoc. He's still alive. Maybe I could burst him down with a couple of SP3s and the fight will be over. But I wanted to duel this person first to see if I'm able to do a certain tactic here with a parry heavy. Nope. Yeah. Because depending on the opponent's limber rating, you can do a parry, medium, heavy, but that was not the case here. So I do not let this fight go to its completion. I think I quit it at some point. So instead of you can skip ahead if you want, but it's very, I'm going to quit it like literally, I think after this, yeah. So here we go. Just wanted to test. And that's why you have the 5 free duel credits. Don't be afraid to duel. You can duel for a lot of purposes. Duel against a certain type of champion. You can just look up the champion's name. If you want to duel an opponent to see if they have a high limber or if they have resist or if they have, let's see what else. Let's see, limber, resist, a mystic dispersion. If their top champ is a mystic and you happen to be facing a mystic. Because I know my mystic dispersion is pretty high. So and you'll see what that really did. So here, idea, of course, is just to manage the rock stacks, which I'm used to doing. Now, I'm not used to fighting Thing on nodes that you can't stun him freely on. I'm used to fighting him on stun reflect or the boss nodes fight. So it's not often you get a chance to fight Thing where you can just parry freely and not get punished. But unfortunately, me doing so has got me careless with the rock stacks. So we're going to just do our little tactic here. Wait till he dash back and hold block, hit into his block. And this is something anyone can do anytime you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yes, I did that on purpose. Okay. But yeah, if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place when he's between his If he's already at 15 rock stats but nowhere near a bar of power, that's what you have to do. Wait for him to dash back, hold block, and then you can safely go in there and parry heavy. Not parry heavy, hit into his block. I'm about to parry heavy. That's the reason why I said that. But that notification threw me off a little bit. Now we're just waiting until we get 5 prowess charges. And I probably should have waited for him to go ahead and get the 15 rock sets out the way before I threw my heavy special. And I had no idea how much health this would take, but it took a good chunk. But now he's triggered protection. Like, the protection doesn't trigger until after. Now that's gonna cost me those hits. And you'll see. So now we're gonna try to. So I think that special took about 30% of his health. So that's what I had in mind when I was doing my calculations there. Because I'm going to build up to another SP3, but I don't think I got him to that threshold where the next SP3, I definitely kill him. So what we're going to do here is apply a couple of plasma, and I just get hit. I for some reason, I just didn't just get hit for no reason. It's just that I did not hold. I didn't retreat. I forgot he was unblockable. It was just a mental lapse. So at this point, I could probably throw it and let the plasma debuff expire on him, but I missed my parry. And actually, I know why I missed my parry in hindsight, because I did parry, but the opponent had the Assassin's Mastery. That's the reason why that parry didn't work. That's why you have to be careful when facing an opponent and you're below 15%, because they have a high Assassin's. I think it's 18%. If they have a high Assassin's, then some of your abilities will fail to trigger. And unfortunately, my parry did not trigger, because you saw the word parry show up on the screen, but he didn't get stunned. So that was the Assassin's Mastery. So yeah, I got assassinated. So I could have, because at the time I was thinking maybe I forgot to parry, but now I'm looking at this video, I definitely did parry. It's just that it didn't register, and now just me watching this video now, right now, I realized why it didn't trigger, because of that Assassins. So that's another thing for you guys to keep in mind, is make sure that you make sure to try to keep yourself above 15% as much as you can. That's why it's important to kind of top yourself off after each fight, because you never know when you may get unfortunate in a fight when you're fighting. It's nice to fight. It's nice to be courageous if you know you're not gonna have to rely on a parry. But if you are, or if you're relying on certain abilities, just keep in mind they may not trigger if Assassin's Mastery is active. But we ended up finishing him with Torch there. Like I say, he took about 20% of my health. So that's so if I had took that fight from the beginning, I would have lost much more health. So it was a calculated risk using Havoc, and it would have worked. It would have worked. I probably could have thrown it at SP3 and probably would have got him, or at least would have been really close. But we'll never know. And I forgot about the animation for his heavy attack. It has 2 hits. So, but I think that's the main drama we see in this fight. There are a couple of SP2s I push him towards, but other than that, it's just a great matchup for Torch because of obviously he's a Mystic, so he kills many Mystics. So I kept that in mind. It looks like he has a pretty good level of Mystic Dispersion, because he regenerated quite a bit of power. But yeah, all those Smolder charges, the fact that he's a Mystic, just makes this fight very, very simple with Torch. That's the first time I've taken him on that node, but I guess I could have taken down Thing with the Torch and not have to worry about the health. Now, I definitely do not take that Domino. So yeah, so that fight, after that last Domino fight, I refused to go in that fight. So now, Magic versus Mojo. I managed to finally one-shot this guy in the off season, so I felt very confident going to this, because a lot of times I got close. I think it was a war video that I actually recorded where I got really close and I missed time punching this heavy attack just by a half second, and he ended up parrying me and I got comboed into oblivion. So this time, with that in the back of my head, because I don't like to repeat the same mistakes twice, that's why you got it. Every fight matters. It helps to record your fights, whether you plan on posting them or not, because you never know. You can use that as a reference, as a learning tool for your next fight. Now, I got hit there on purpose, did the power start boost. Once again, if I didn't start the fight in limbo, I would not have taken that, the special to the face or the heavy to the face. But I saw that it was active. So all it did is just help me get pushed to 2 bars of power much sooner, and that we can go ahead and start this magic cycle. And it's going to be a couple of times that it gets interrupted. Now, yes, I do trigger his life field at times, but unless it just keeps triggering for throwing a special attack, it's gonna fall back to 1 charge. Right now, it's in the special attack mode. But as long as I don't have a debuff expire on me, it's a moot point. But I think I end up having one expire here, so I'm gonna take more degeneration damage, unfortunately, but not enough to kill me. Now this one and the buff shouldn't be a big deal. So if he has a prompt that fails to trigger, his charges get reset. Because once it gets to 5, then that's when you get dealt with that hater buff and massive degeneration. So you have to be really unlucky if you're using magic against him for that to happen. So anytime I fail to intercept him in the corner, I just let him hit into me and throw it heavy. And I try to be very quick on retaliating off of it so I don't get parried like I did before. But the standing intercepts work more than half of the time when I knock him down. And now I remember when I did this before, my hands were very shaky and very nervous. But at this point, I was very calm, making sure I don't mess up. I just felt so good about finally being vindicated off of this fight. It had been such a bugaboo, especially in those flow wars. That was the main part where I was so close and just kept getting frustrated every time. But I finally got an in-season mojo solo. Like I said, I had one in the off season. But what we're gonna do here, we're gonna look at our defense here. This is gonna be part of the title of the video. So at this point, this is just in our battle group alone. We got 45 defensive kills, and we got 102 as an alliance. Now we end up with 150, which you probably already saw by the thumbnail. But at this point, we got like massive. Every defender in our group had at least a kill at this point. And my Doom bosses, they just starting to take him on. So we're gonna see how many kills he finishes up with. Rank 3 Sig 200 with Mystic Dispersion 4 out of 5. Yeah. And then they just didn't finish that opponent. I think they ultimately do though. I think he just rebuys and takes his medicine. And I think we had 10 kills with a Void. They've already taken down. Now, amazingly, they one-shot the Apocalypse boss. So, in BG3. In BG1, the mini-boss Dragon Man, still haven't taken him down yet. And they got another rank 3 Doom on the horizon. But that rank 3 Doom for me got 14 kills. But check this out. The rank 3 Doom there got 28. And he had Sig 44. But that's the war, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be on the road for the next 8 hours, so I'll try to get the next video posted later this evening. All right, take care.